Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be talking about a potential system forming in the Gulf for the coming week. So it's interesting, like some of the models are showing like so development, and it could become an interesting feature. It could become a tropical storm maybe, but there is there is a caveat with this. So the GFS is what I'm going to show you here, just doesn't really develop it like so much, and I'll explain why right now. So yeah, there's low pressure here coming into the Carolinas, and then it swoops southward in from Tampa then into the Gulf, but it just never really gets organized. It just becomes a little trough, just like very elongated, just like really sporadic, so there's not much there. Then it just makes landfall towards the Panhandle, and then it just takes off and then exits out into the Atlantic. So the GFS is being one of those things where it just doesn't develop it at all. If you look at the relative humidity, so obviously the more green it is, the more moisture there is, so the more so if there's a low pressure or potential hurricane, if there's loads of green around it, then that's a good sign. Or if there's too much of this brown dry air suppressing air, then it can't really develop. So also going into next week, yeah, it's just got some dry air in, especially on the western side. That could be why, the main reason why that it just won't develop. This is too much dry air injected into the core, so it just becomes very elongated, and then it does try to develop at the last second, but it's just very elongated, and then it just makes landfall on the Panhandle. You know, look at the vorticity here. So obviously the more red it is, the more spin there is. But if you were to look here, that's just very sporadic. It's very wide area of rotation. But you see here how that's concentrated, that's more of a rotation, a core rotation. So as we go on here, there is a little bit of a rotation of Florida, maybe more than the last run, but it's just still not there really. But here, the ACM, what I'm going to show you is obviously we're going into next week, Wednesday and Thursday. It develops it more south for a start, and you can see by the wind bobs, there's more rotation. There's more of this so there's more of a closed low. So that's a big difference already. And then it develops maybe to a hurricane, believe it or not, maybe a hurricane, but take that with a massive pitch of salt in, and then you notice there's nothing on the western side of it. That could be due to dry air, so it could be an Alberto maybe, where it tries to wrap around itself but it can't quite, so it could look like an Alberto maybe, but it's just one of those things that we'll have to wait and see. And then it makes landfall towards Louisiana, Arkansas area, and then it just moves up north. If you look at the ICOM model here, so it's a higher resolution model here. If we go on into early next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, and then into Thursday, it does develop something. And then as we go to the end of the week, look at this, 996 millibars, and it's intensifying as we speak. And if we look at the wind speeds, interestingly, it's near hurricane force. So it's just one of those things we'll just have to keep an eye on. If we look at the sea surface temperature anomalies here, so it looks like where it's going to form, it's well above average, between 1.6 to 2+ degrees above average. So it's very warm in the minute in the Gulf. And if you look at the temperatures, bloody hell, it's in the 30s. So anything above 26 support hurricanes. So if it's above 26 degrees, that is enough to support a hurricane. And in the minute, it's in the 30s. So that's enough to support a category 5. If there was a category 5, and there was favorable conditions around it, that is warm enough to sustain a category 5. So the Gulf and the Caribbean Sea, the Bahamas, say, and the Florida Straits is very, very warm in the minute. It's well above average, which is really concerning, to be honest. So it's just one of those things I'll have to keep an eye on. So if you're in Louisiana and Arkansas and places like the Florida Panhandle and that Tampa, you have to keep an eye on this, because this could develop maybe into a weak feature. Don't know how strong yet, but I'll say anywhere between tropical storm, actually no, maybe a high-end tropical depression, maybe a mid-range tropical storm. They said they're showing a hurricane, but it's too far-fetched in a minute. It's just it's just I don't know. The GFS is one of those ones that is just put a downer, well, like not a downer because no one wants a hurricane, but from a tracking perspective, the GFS is just one of the models that is just putting a dampener, like it's just not developing it. So we'll just have to wait and see. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss another upload. So yeah, just we'll have to keep an eye on this, and I will upload tomorrow.